Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about something that I don't normally bring up in conversation. I don't think I've ever mentioned it at all in a video. It's my hometown. I'm not going to call it by its name just because it's really not worth knowing. But where I grew up is a very interesting place. It's a very small town here in North Carolina. And when I say small, I mean ridiculously small. I'd lived there like almost all of my life, and it's something you really don't really know until you talk to other, because I've talked to different people who've lived in different places. It's kind of interesting when you kind of hear their perspective on like what you tell them about the places you live in. Basically, my hometown is smack dab in the middle of two other small towns. They're bigger than my hometown, but like they're not that much bigger. It's like if you go in any direction, like even for like the smallest amount of time, you'll automatically hit another town. Typically, like might go this direction for like drive for literally like 30 seconds, you're automatically in another town. This way it might take a little bit longer just because it's like I'm not 100% sure where exactly the city line is for that particular town. So I don't know where the particular line is cut off, like we're separating my hometown from that town, but still nevertheless. So like some people might be like, okay, when it comes to my hometown, all there is like a Walmart. That's like the highlight of my hometown. My hometown doesn't even have that. Literally, like all the stores, whether it be like, Walmart, restaurants, like fast food, like Taco Bell or McDonald's, KFC, yada, yada, yada. You'd actually have to go to another town just to get to like basically any type of shopping you'd have to do, like whether any general stores or any Walmart shopping, you'd have to go to that town. Like I said, it's literally like a 30-second drive from my hometown, but still it was just like I find it fun. The only things that are in my hometown are 2 churches, a couple houses, a post office, and the high school that I went to. To me, I'm not that very experienced with other areas, but typically when it comes to like high schools, usually they're named after, like in our case, like there's a lot of high schools that are named after the counties that they're in. My high school, like maybe it's not that weird, but I find it funny is that my high school is named after not the city, like not the town it's in, my hometown, it's named after the two towns that my hometown is in the middle of. So it's like insert this town's name, like dash, insert this town's name, high school. So it's something when you look at, like at the time, it's like I never gave it much thought, but then it was like in retrospect, it's kind of like that's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? It's just because normally like high schools or middle schools will have just like a specific name, or it's just like depending on the city, it's the actual town it's located in. That, like I said, that one's named after the 2 towns that my hometown is in the middle of. So I just always think that was fun. It's not like I think it was in high school I actually read a Wikipedia page about my hometown. It was like maybe a paragraph. Like I said, it was maybe like 2010 I read it, so that was like 6 years ago. So I remember next to nothing I read. I've not looked at it since then. I was like, huh, that's interesting. I forgot what prompted me to do that. I started up in school one time. I was like, there's a freaking Wikipedia page about insert my hometown. Everyone's like, really? It's like, yeah. It's like, to me, it's the dumbest thing because there's literally nothing to the town. I don't even remember what it said necessarily. I think it said maybe like 200 some people live there, like based on one of this, like a past census said it was like 200 people there. I don't know, maybe I'm remembering that incorrectly, but that always just kind of stuck in my mind. I don't hate my hometown. I appreciate it for, it's like, there's not really anything to do there, but it's a very nice, quiet place. I mean, granted, there are some moments where some ghetto crap has happened in the past, where it's like my mom had her tires stolen from her car. Basically, she left her car like parked, like we live down a dirt road that's like if your car's lower to the ground, it's not the best to be driving, especially because my mom had like a newer car at the time. So it's like she didn't want to mess up her car, so she already left it parked at the end of the road. And what made it even funny, like to me, I look at it and thinking it's a little I think it's a little funny, maybe no one else will. One of the churches in my hometown is right there at that end of the road, so her car is parked near a church, and someone literally in the middle of the morning, it's like before she was going to work a couple years ago, jacked her car up on some center blocks and took her tires and rims. And I just thought, like, it's not, at the moment, it's not funny because it's like, yo, that's really fucked up. But in retrospect, it's kind of like, holy shit, that's some ghetto ass shit. And putting on cinder blocks too, just, that's an example. And like I said, ironic just because it was in front of a church, so just, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, other than that though, it typically is a quiet place. Not too much happens. There's not much to do. But you know, like I said, it's still a very nice place to live. I don't look back on it just like, oh my god, I'm just totally disgusted by it. But it was fine. But yeah, that's like really all I wanted to talk about when it came to my hometown. My question to you guys is, what's your hometown like? Do you still currently live in your hometown? You know, not like that's a bad thing. I'm just curious because, you know, because a lot of people tend to not, you know, it's like you tend to try and move as far away from home as possible. I'm not that far from home where I'm currently living, but you know, but it's still a ways away. It's not like just like hop and skip when you're there. It's quite a little bit of driving you need to get back to my hometown. So I am curious, like, do you still live in your hometown? And even you know, even if you do and if you don't, still tell me what your hometown's like. That's really all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.